Hello everybody, I'm RezenatorZen. This review I'm going to give you is of Twilight because I've been putting it off for far too long. So some of the facts I say are going to be muddled, so don't really hold me to it. I'll do a better review when I read it again. But yeah. Uh, I'm reading a lot of things right now, but I'm done with Twilight, of course, and that's what this review is about. Love the book. It's a very good book. A friend of mine, who's a guy, is like, "Oh, I like it," and I mean, not a lot of guys are gonna go out and say, "Oh, I like the book," because they're a bunch of pansies. I'm not a pansy. I love the book's really awesome. It's very well written, and it has vampires. But I just started reading New Moon, I think a couple weeks ago, and I just recently bought Eclipse and Breaking Dawn. But I wouldn't consider myself a fanboy. I just like buying books so I can read them. I'm also reading, which I bought, as I told you about, Watchmen. And now let's get on to Twilight. It's very good. I mean, it's very well written. I can actually see when I'm reading. I can see it does a very good job of describing the locations, and I'm able to picture it in my brain. That also, I'm an artist. It starts off in the beginning. It has a Bible verse. It's from Genesis. It's really good. It's really. I like the chemistry though between Bella and Edward. I really like it because it's really well done. Where he meets her and he's like, "I'm really dangerous. Like, you got to stay away from me." She persists, and he's like, I'm okay. I'm gonna be your friend. We can't avoid this, but I'm no good for you because you're gonna die." And um, I mean, it's really well done. And my favorite part of the book is if you haven't read it and you're reading it, spoiler. I'm gonna put that in the title, spoiler, if you haven't read it. But at the end of it, when James attacks Bella, and that whole scene, like, that's a really chilling scene where she's like resigned to death, and that's really good. I'm actually gonna rent Twilight, the movie of Twilight, just to see how close to the book it is, because I like debating, and I'm gonna do a video where I compare the two. But it's a really good book. One of my favorite scenes in the book that's really well described is when Edward takes Bella to the meadow, and he can be himself, and he's a glittering vampire. I never quite got why they glitter in the sunlight, but okay. But I like that part because he's just like, "I'm really dangerous. I draw in my prey. I don't have to do anything, and I could just snap their neck if I wanted to." And it's really, really well done. This book is awesome. That's just me because I love reading and I love vampires. So I actually might buy or might read Anne Rice's books. Lestat, Vampires Lestat, Wind of the Damned, Interview with a Vampire. Those books. I don't know, just because I like vampires and this is well done, and I don't know, I just want to see what Anne Rice does with the vampire genre. I've seen Interview with a Vampire, I've seen Queen of the Damned, stuff like that, so I want to see what the books are really like as opposed to the movies. Yeah. On the bag it just says, "This is awesome, best of the book of the decade, hot list, best book of the year." Um, best book of the decade? I don't know. I've read some books, but that are good from before, but I'm gonna say this is a very well done book. I'm not gonna go so far as to say that it's a best book of the decade, but I'm gonna say that it's best book in a couple of years. It'll probably withstand the test of time. And it's really funny though that not a lot of guys read Twilight. I just find that really funny. And if they probably do read it, they're not going to come out and say, "Oh, I read it," because I mean, there's such a fangirl mentality to the book, and I think that a lot of guys are afraid of being seen as less than manly, which I don't really get. I mean, there are of us, of course, who don't mind being in touch with our feminine side, I guess is the way I would put it. I don't mind being construed as less than manly because I'm not so wrapped up in my security blanket. I'm not one of those people that is so wrapped up in their own security blanket that they can't take a joke or take a criticism or take a lighthearted jesting or something, or can't take someone thinking that they're less of a man. I don't get that kind of personality. But I mean, you gotta admit there's a lot of women fans more than there are guy fans. Stephanie Meyer's a really good writer, and I like. It's really tragic at the end where, well, you'll know. When Edward leaves and shit like that. When he leaves and like she's just so broken up and things like that. I'm not sure if that's at the end of Twilight or if that's at the beginning of New Moon. Things are muddling together. But I'll reread this and give you a better review of the book after I'm done reading it. After I'm done reading all 4 books, the remaining 3 that I have to get through, I'll give you a better review of the book, and I'll give you a criticism of the movie and book when I rent Twilight the movie to see how good it is and how well they adapt the book. I think I've gone on long enough for this video, but I'm RezenatorZen. I like Twilight, and you should go read the goddamn book if you haven't read it. Yeah. This is a RezenatorZen book of the year material thing. I'll do that. At the end of the year, I'll say which books I like better. I'll do comic of the year. I'll do that stuff. But, go read it if you haven't. And if you're a guy and you don't want to go read it, man the fuck up. Come on. You're really just a coward because you won't read a book. Okay. I've said my piece. Peace out.